Good day, everyone. My name is Eniola Omowumi, and today I'm going to be presenting the results of my vulnerability assessment, which I concluded. This presentation highlights the tools, methods, and findings and recommendations aimed at improving system security. Let's begin. Here are a list of the agendas that we're going to be covering today during this entire presentation. First, we have the introduction, which I'll discuss the purpose and what the focus of the presentation. Then we have the objective, also discussing a part of the focus of the presentation, and then we have the tools and methodologies which was used during this report and during this report and research, and we have key findings, some of the things that I discovered after concluding my research, and then we have my analysis and recommendations, which is to help the mitigate the problems that were found, and then we have my closing remarks, which is my conclusions. This presentation focused on vulnerability assessment concluded on OS 192.168.1.30. The objective was to identify vulnerability and evaluate their severities and propose mitigation strategies. After concluding this vulnerability assessment, a total of 47 vulnerabilities were discovered, including critical issues in a service like FTP, Project XQL, and Apache Tomcat. This findings underscores the importance of proactive security measures in reducing risks within our servers and networks. Objective. The objective of this assessment were clear from the beginning: identify and categorize vulnerabilities, analyze their impacts on the system, and provide actionable recommendations. That can help in mitigating the vulnerability found or eliminating them altogether. By doing this, I aim to strengthen the whole security posture and prevent potential attacks. My methodology uses a combined tools and techniques. First, we have GSA, which is Green Bone Security Assistance. Green Bone Security Assistance was used for comprehensive vulnerability scans. Then we have the Nmap. The Nmap helped with network discovery and service identification. And then we have ARP scan and PowerShell commands, which was leveraged to detect hidden hosts and network neighbors. During this entire process, I encountered a couple of challenges, such as configuration errors or network restrictions, which required adaptive troubleshooting. Tools overview. Three tools were used during this entire process, which was Greenbone, GSA, Nmap, ARP, ARP and PowerShell. Like in the previous slides, which was my methodology, Greenbones provided an in-depth scanning capability and detailed report. Nmap was invaluable in discovering active hosts, and it was used to find the hidden host, which was later scanned in Greenbones to give me my vulnerability report. And ARP and PowerShell supported network exploration, helped in identifying device and their configurations. These tools work together to ensure a thorough assessment. The assessment uncovered 47 vulnerabilities. 15 were high severity vulnerability, posing immediate risks such as remote coding or execution, and unauthorized access. 28 with medium vulnerabilities, including SSL and TLS misconfiguration and outdated protocols. And 4 were low vulnerabilities, which were minor configurations with limited exploration potential. This breakdown highlights the urgency in addressing high vulnerabilities first. Let's dive into some of the high severity findings found on the network, which poses a greater risk. First, we have Apache Tomcat. This vulnerability allows attackers to access internal service and execute arbitrary codes on it. It affects multiple Tomcat versions and must be mitigated by upgrading to a secure version or disabling the AJP connector entirely, if not required. Implementing strict access control on the AJP connector is also crucial and critical in ensuring that the network is protected. Then we have VSFTPD backdoor. This was detected on port 22 and 6200. This uses involves a backdoor in compromised VSFTP source package, allowing attackers to execute commands by logging in with a simple smiley face as a username. Some of my immediate actions is 1. Require an update for the VSFTPD and validating binaries and blocking the ports entirely. Blocking ports 6200 could help in mitigating the damages. Then we have Java RMI service configuration. This service accepted unauthenticated connection by default, exposing the system to remote control execution. My recommendation for this is restricting access to known IPS and disabling dynamic class loading are crucial in mitigating measures. And then we have integer subblock backdoor. A sign of a potential compromise, this backdoor allows elevated access, removing unauthorized files, reconfiguring the system, and closely monitoring servers are essential steps to mitigating this potential risks. Now, some of my actionable recommendations to address the vulnerabilities of strengthening the securities. First, I divided this into two sections. We have the immediate actions, which are crucial and important and should be done immediately on the servers to help in mitigating the vulnerabilities. And then we have my long-term strategies, which could help strengthening the servers over time and potentially eliminating all vulnerabilities altogether. First, immediate action: patch high severities vulnerabilities. First, we start with the critical severities such as Apache Tomcat, VSFTPD, and Project SQL. Updating all or reconfiguring the servers will significantly reduce the attack surfaces. Then we have restricting access to sensitive ports. Use firewall or access control is to limit access to critical services based on IP addresses, and then investigates potential backdoors. System affected with backdoors should undergo a thorough cleanup and an integrity check to ensure unauthorized modifications remains. And here are some of my list of long-term strategies. Establish a routine patch management. A systematic approach is to update ensures vulnerabilities are addressed before they are even exploited. Implementing real-time monitoring by setting up login and access alerts to detect unusual activities such as unauthorized access attempts or changing configurations, training staff, empowering your team to with the knowledge about cybersecurity practices, enabling them to recognize and respond to potential threats, and scheduling protocol assessment, conducting regular vulnerability scans to help detect new new risks, and maintaining robust security postures. By adopting these measures, the organizations and servers can ensure their servers and systems remain secure and free of vulnerabilities to be exploited by potential hackers. To conclude this vulnerability assessment, this vulnerability assessment have highlighted several critical risks and actionable steps to address them. Here are the key takeaways. Proactive, proactive vulnerability management is essential to making sure the system is free of vulnerabilities and to making sure there's no gaps or lapse in security to be exploited by attackers. Second, prompt remediation on high severity issues is non-negotiable. These are things that pose a greater risk to the system and to the business and to the overall service to you yourself. So this should be addressed immediately and should be uh, mitigated. And then security is an ongoing process. It requires consistent effort for monitoring logs and updating software and training staffs and conducting routine scans. By taking all the steps, we're not only reducing immediate risks, but also creating a foundation for a long-term and secure environment. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my presentation, and have a wonderful day.